Great. Recording this, and I think Kate's gonna join us by Zoom. And then as long as we,
You know, with, I've been working on a lot of bylaws, so I'm really excessive. But when we're doing Zoom, you gotta make sure that everybody, well, you're an attorney, so. But I went to a meeting and people were not able to hear, and yet they were counted as part of the quorum. And
Wow.
it was a thing.
So. What happened to this?
what'd you do?
Oh, just a laceration, but it's
A laceration.
but yeah, but I swung I go at 90 miles an hour. I swung my arm and I hit the corner of a granite counter. And it lifted a whole flap of skin and, yeah, and the emergency room said, no, it didn't need stitches or anything, but I can't put tape on it because the flap. is-
Hey, you're right.
Miranda's right behind me.
Huh?
Miranda's right behind me. We both did the same thing.
Yeah, no, so did we, yeah, absolutely.
Hi, how are you?
Did you send out something saying that the location had changed?
No, I found out 10 minutes ago that
She
the
didn't
location
know.
had changed.
We got
So,
to,
yeah, they had posted it on the official website as being here, but they didn't tell me it had changed. So
Oh,
the
God.
one I posted was for Rose Baker, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
but as long as it's on the city website as being correct, then I think we're okay having a meeting, but, we didn't know.
No.
Communication
I
is
just-
always
no,
really
It's funny because I spaced out, I was like in deep thought and I came here and then I was like, shoot, I went the wrong place and I went all the way back and I was like, oh, shoot.
Hey, Miranda. Hello.
Good morning.
All right, well. Oh, hi, Kate.
Hello.
Hi, good to see you. Glad that's working.
Yes, me too.
Kate, were you aware that this was at the harbor master's office and not Rose Baker's?
No,
No, yep, yep, somewhere along the line, the change between last week and this week, so.
oh, no.
We're good, we're all here, we're here.
I'll
Yeah.
check in with Allison on this. I don't know why this has been so complicated.
All the
I haven't
mayor.
shown anybody this yet.
Yeah.
This is for GMGI Science Canard. It's 7 feet.
Oh, my God.
I've never built a sculpture before.
That's so cool.
All right, cool. Now I feel better. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna transport it.
Well, I'm not sure if anyone else is, I don't think David Calvo's coming, he's teaching this week, he told me. I haven't heard from Billy. But we have a quorum, so we're good, yeah. And we've got Kate. And we got Jason here, so we can, and you're the first on the agenda, but before we start. Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes from July 29th? So can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion, changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jason Grow, request for City Hall exhibit, those who serve. And
Yeah.
Jason's here with us, so.
It's so weird being on this side of the table.
I bet it is,
Yeah.
I bet it is, you're on the
I
spot.
hope I don't screw up here. First off the record, I'm Jason Grow, 12 Marble Road, in Gloucester. What I'm asking for is permission to display a project I've been working on Vietnam and Korean veteran portraits. Most of you might remember that 10 years ago, I did a similar project for World War II. I know, crazy. And I brought an example of what we did back then. It's actually one of the only ones I have left. I've been photographing Korean and Vietnam veterans for the last couple of years. Got about 50 something photographed. There's a couple more I'd like to get. And been a little trickier getting people to go along with this particular project than it was with World War II veterans. But we're getting there.
Why is that?
Right.
People just didn't want to, you know, that there's the same Vietnam
Oh,
bias
still,
issue is still there. And
Still.
of course, with the Korean veterans, I had hoped to start this project actually years ago, but life COVID, all the things that got in the way. And, we have fewer and fewer Korean War veterans. Thankfully, we still have Harry. The Vietnam veterans, a lot of them just didn't want to participate or didn't respond. They didn't have the same kind of response to requests out in public saying, hey, we're doing this project, do it. But I hope to have close to 60 by the time this rolls around. I have examples I don't know if you can if I can share my screen or not, you guys.
Probably can't, well, you probably can, but we don't know how to, but
Okay.
you can show us here.
Well, I've got a little video, that's what I was gonna do, but
Oh.
I can put it on there, you can sort of see what's going on. Wait, let me do
Wonderful.
1 second here. Let me get the sound up. I don't wanna make one. As you can see. Sorry, Hayden.
I know that women also serve, do you have images of women on?
Yes, I have, there are 3 in
Oh, I
here.
didn't, okay, I think it must be my perspective, I
No,
couldn't see
No,
it.
and it's actually been one of my, thank you.
Just beautiful.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, I just couldn't.
No, you bring up a really good point, and something I've been really working on was trying to find women who served either in Vietnam, typically it was either in non-military service or as nurses.
Nursing here.
Jan Bell was in the Red Cross. She
I'm
served.
so sorry, I didn't see her.
That's okay, it's all right.
Sorry.
And we had two other women, that served either in, usually, they didn't serve directly in Vietnam, but they served during that period of time. And there's a number of the veterans that didn't serve in Vietnam, but they were in various other places. And I don't I generally took the position I wasn't discriminating where people were served because they didn't have a choice in that matter. And generally speaking, pretty much people were treated the same regardless if they served in Germany, or if they served in Vietnam, and in terms of the reception in Vietnam. Korea just basically didn't get much reception at all. Sort of like they came home and that's it. They talked about it and didn't think about it. But anyway, so I'm still searching for women. So if you know women who have served in Vietnam or Korea or in that general, I would jump at the chance of photographing them. Again, I photographed about 52 right now. I've got a few more people lined up, a few haven't published yet. And again, the picture, this is about what we're looking at. Now, if you remember, I've got pictures of the original exhibit. I made 8 panels that were accordion style panels. Each panel front and back, and I think at the World War II thing, we had about 64 pictures. And so I've asked the administration Greg has said that he's going to waive the facility fee. We'll set up the panels and the images. Hopefully, I'm aiming for the 6th and 7th of November because the 8th is Saturday before Veterans Day. And since Veterans Day is on Tuesday, also a city council meeting, it's difficult to have something at the an event there during the day. So I think Saturday is the target date to have a reception of them like we did. We did when we had it for the World War II show, I was expecting 50, 60 people, you know.
There were hundreds.
There were hundreds, and it really shook me. And I'm hoping for the same kind of reception this time. And then I'm hoping to go as far as December 12th, try and get it out before the Christmas season, and then there's some potential conflicts here and there. The panels are movable, so if there was a real conflict with something else being scheduled, I could take them down, set them aside, put them back up again. I'd rather not have to do that, but it's possible. It's not a permanent exhibition. And then I don't know what will happen with the pictures. The World War II stuff I kept in my office for 2 years, and it gathered dust, and then the Cape Ann, the Cape Ann Museum did an exhibition. They had it up for a couple of months upstairs, which was awesome. And then I donated to every community where people were from pictures, and some communities put them up in their city buildings. We have space for some, but they disappeared. I don't know where they are.
I do.
Okay. But I think there was about 30 something for the Gloucester, 40 something for the Gloucester side. I don't know where they are, if they're ever going to go up or not. They were donated to the city, and I donated to Brockport and Ipswich, in Manchester. So that's it. That's basically what I'm asking for is permission to show the show and have the exhibition. There's no cost to the city other than the facility fees being waived. I'll cover the cost of the custodian for the 8th. Managed to pull off the opening. Yeah, so that's
Anybody
it.
have any questions?
My only, and I don't think this qualifies whether I support what you're doing, is given the even hesitation from the veterans themselves. I don't know, are you talking about that at all in your presentation of the photographs, just the complicated nature of those?
I will probably address it at the opening, but you know what this is in terms of the pictures is I'm telling my goal has been to tell their story. And when they want to share something about how they were received when they came home, I include that in the story. But I'm not.
Hey, Karen, can you hear me?
Yes,
Sarah, it
can now.
wasn't-
Your meeting looks like it's running fine.
Yeah, we're fine. Thank you, Greg.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Billy.
Yeah, Billy's here.
Oh, hi, Billy.
I'm not necessarily putting my point of view on that era. I'm letting them tell their particular stories. So that's my general feeling on that, is that, you know, my personal feeling about the Vietnam War that I developed at the age of 8 is different than theirs. And that, you know, the interesting thing about the stories is that even people who went and served, got drafted, one guy said, I was clawing at the ground, my nails were bloody, I didn't want to go, but I went, And to people who said, I'm gonna go anyway, I might as well join. Some talked about the way they felt when they got back, some didn't. But as far as getting people to, I think part of the other thing was, I think that folks didn't know what this was all about, what I was trying to do. World War II veterans, it was much easier because it there was a big rush of the greatest generation. It's been 70 years since the war is over. There wasn't everybody was really banging on the door to get their stories told. The reason I pegged this project to 2025 is that the war theoretically ended in 2023, and the hostilities. Fall of Saigon in 75 was really truly the end of American involvement in Vietnam. And so that's been 50 years, so just this year. Yeah. So I mean, it was around April, but and Veterans Day obviously is an easy target date to actually engage people. So still have a call to.
This would be a great opportunity for the veterans or for somebody else to have some things in the paper,
Yeah.
giving the history, not coming from you, because you're in a different position. But you can't really talk about it, but the veterans could, and if they were to, when the publicity starts on this, it would be wonderful if there could be some press that educates people who don't understand what happened.
Victor Green is really good about sort of magnifying that. She really
is.
expresses, that.
Who's that?
She's the
She's the head
director.
of the veteran
Oh,
services.
okay.
And she's always very, very conscious about reminding people that,
Yeah,
people
Yeah.
serve, they sacrifice, whatever.
you talk to her all the time. Would you want me just to enforce something?
Yeah,
Just,
if you want that.
yeah, okay. I can do it.
Great,
So anyway,
Yeah.
that's the spiel.
wonderful, wonderful. Any other questions or, hi, Billy. Sorry, you came in a little bit. Could you hear Jason's? Yeah, okay, good. So we are an advisory group, so we can make a recommendation to the mayor's office that this happen.
Good.
As
Yeah,
presented.
the last time we did this, it didn't go through the Committee for the Arts, it just sort of went.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, I wanted to respect your
Oh, I
role
appreciate
as
that, yeah.
partners of what we
Yeah.
put out there.
On public properties, so, yeah, good. All right, is there any issue of making this recommendation to the mayor's office to allow this to happen as presented? Okay, all right, very good.
Very good,
All right.
thank you very much,
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Jason, yeah, all
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Are we officially voting on it? or-
Yeah, why don't we take a vote, so,
I don't do, Harry's in that. Do I have to recuse?
you don't have to.
There's no benefit to you.
No, that's true.
So,
That's true.
I make a
Actually,
motion?
quite the opposite.
So a motion to approve, to recommend the proposal by Jason Rowe for a display of Vietnam and Korean war veterans at Gloucester City Hall on November 6th and 7th. To recommend the proposal to the mayor.
That's the setup date,
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. and then
through December 12th.
Through December 12th.
Thank you. December 12th to the mayor. Does anybody?
Move, is there a second? For that,
I'll second.
okay, any discussion, any clarification, all right, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Really
Jason.
appreciate it. Taking time. Thank you for
Okay,
serving
yeah,
on the Committee for the Arts.
see you soon,
Take care.
yeah, all right.
Mark, Sharon?
All right, I'll send over a memo to the mayor on that and we'll be good. All right, next on the agenda, Kate.
Hello.
Kate, yeah,
It's interesting too. I know that Jason's left the room, but I honestly, I see such a sense of pride and of community and spirit in relation to all of his beautiful veterans photos. So that was a little disappointing to hear that related to the Korean War feedback, because my father was a Korean War veteran. He served on the counterintelligence team in Germany and was always very proud. So I think that this would be a wonderful opportunity to have this Veterans Day event as well, another opportunity for our poet laureates. So keep them busy.
On the Elks Veterans Committee, which was really in disarray. It wasn't functioning properly, and they have some veterans on there now. And I can tell you, they've been doing amazing things
Yeah.
with people, like huge turnouts and
Mhm.
lots of conversation.
Mhm.
Just a lot of really good events that are getting more
Mhm.
substantial.
Mhm.
So it'd be kind of cool.
Agreed. And then just a quick recap is for making it public. We did send a draft for our call for artists to MAPC and then the New England Foundation for the Arts for review. We did get their feedback, so now we're incorporating those suggested changes, tightening language on eligibility criteria and accessibility. So that's still it's a process that will be taking several months, really, just until I don't know the date yet as to when we will put the call out, but the piece will be the piece still TBD. A sculpture mural will be slated for by summer of 2026. So we're still in the early stages of this. And with Culture Splash, I know we're winding down. I haven't seen any data, but I do know that we've have had some great weather, so that always increases participation. So I'm actually really eager to hear from businesses as to how this year's Culture Splash went. And then we back to our poet laureates with Schooner Fest this week. We are exploring ways to incorporate the poet laureates. The mayor had wanted them to participate in one of the receptions, but it's just complicated as there aren't many speaking opportunities at that event. So we're trying to figure out maybe there's a way on Saturday, or possibly even I had said they could create a poem that lives on the Maritime Gloucester's website. So we're in the last minute of kind of scrambling around, but once we have a plan that works, it can be continued in the future. That's sort of our goal. And also the city, Alex and Ringo Tarr have met. The city's expressed interest in hosting a smaller scale reenactment that was like our Rev 250. So we're going to explore funding opportunities and sort of heritage programming, and to see how that aligns. And so that also is in the beginning stages. And I think too that next up for early next month is just working on our grant proposals for Mass Cultural Council for our cultural districts. And that's it.
Great, wonderful, good stuff, yeah.
At this question, and we talked about and I haven't been in City Hall, so maybe something's been done. The hallway that goes to the elevator, has anything happened there?
No, not yet. There's been a little, well, currently there's been painting and such in the City Hall annex. And so I wanted to sort of replicate what's been happening there. We've just had there's been some issues with staffing. So in terms of having DPW doing the painting, so that it's still on the horizon, where I would be happy to go and paint the walls, but it's just a process. So hopefully, I think that would be a lovely thing. I'll raise my hand about it again.
Well, the reason is that that before, when we had the World War II, the veteran portraits, we would rotate them in that hallway. And that was a mini gallery.
Yeah.
And when they were removed, there's some damage. I think it's gonna have to be some patching in that hallway as well. It's since the fire, it's looked like a disaster, and it would be nice to have the walls fixed and someone to pay for a hanging system in that.
Yeah, in the hanging system. I'll and I like that we could sort of incorporate this with Veterans Day. So I'll send something to the mayor's office to sort of maybe just to be able to facilitate this in the hanging system and maybe even some lighting.
Yeah, absolutely, because, well, the thing is, that
Yeah.
you mentioned like funding for the cultural districts, and it used to be when the budget went in that there was the both cultural districts and the Committee for the Arts. We have nothing now, right, on the budget?
Yeah, that, well, this is something that I think we could have come out of the mayor's budget. But again, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but that's a
When
good
we
question.
have something, when we have something, then maybe some of that funding could go to the hall project, because. I don't
I
know.
agree. It's important.
Okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
No, and because that's something, again, adding to the pride of community, and we want that space just to look fresh. So
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I like Tuesday target for that. That's nice. That's good.
Yeah, that gives us a goal.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. So let's talk about the CPA funded projects. Judith?
Yeah, no, everything's on target
For the
for the
second?
second, which is the next week.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what time they're coming, but they
Okay.
will coordinate, and I'll need to coordinate with DPW to, they know where the truck is supposed to park and all that, but I'll have to circle back with that, and
Okay.
I'll be there, and
Okay.
hopefully that won't be too much longer before we get that Williamstown looks at it and they give us a final estimate on it.
Yeah, so that's the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. All right, yay. Thank you, Judith. And Billy?
No, looks like
Skylar?
all steams ahead on my end. Thank you again to Rebecca and you for answering those emails. There is a time capsule thing going on the back burner that I guess in the work that's been done, they found a time capsule. So I think somebody's working with the mayor's office. I think it was Kate, just to see how we can get that kind of taken care of. So that's exciting, and hopefully at some point soon, either myself or Kate or somebody else has good news, because who doesn't love a good time capsule?
Well, yeah, Billy, I know Rebecca has identified a company that can help with this.
Really?
That was the latest. Yeah, and it's a copper box.
Right.
Which is very cool. So I know that's another priority for the mayor. We just haven't had any movement on it. Yeah.
But yep, that's exciting. So other than that, it looks like it's all steam ahead. If there's anything that I'm missing, Karen, we can chat and get it going. But it looks like all steam ahead on my end.
It looks to me from the correspondence that Skylight now has everything it needs to do their
That's correct.
prioritization of work. So that would be the next step. So if the next time you reach out to them, find out what their timeline is on that.
Okay.
Just report back to the city.
Oh, yeah.
That would be great. Like, what, are we gonna get a report from them saying, these 10 things need to be addressed?
Right.
Okay. Away. And then maybe in that same thing, they can tell us approximately how long after that, and a budget for those things. So
cool.
You're aware that we have, the budget that we have. So
right.
Good. All right.
Cool. Thank you.
That's great. The time capsule thing is a box that's under the base of the man at the wheel statue, right? So, yeah. So I think the mayor wants to have that be like a la-di-da thing, like for this fall, maybe.
It was already in the paper.
It was in the paper, yeah. So anyway, okay, good. Poet laureates?
So I wrote both poet laureates about meeting with us and giving us some kind of report on what they've done. And I haven't heard back from either of them, and I have to admit, I'm getting ready for a show and didn't follow up.
Susan, I think I just heard back from Heidi today. She may have been away in trying to, I'm not sure, truthfully, but I know I had reached out to her and just heard something today from her. And another idea I had is, we could even set some parameters for them, and as well as like kind of a report of and like as we had discussed last time, a report of what they've done so far and kind of an inventory of their poetry. But
Right,
yeah, I'll work with you on this as well.
okay, great. You know, I'll check and see if she wrote me as well. I didn't do that this morning.
You've got a lot on your plate, I know, with your show.
Where's your show?
Thank you. Jane Deering.
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
With 2 other women.
Yeah, yeah. When is that opening?
The 6th, so we have to install. On the
Yeah.
2nd, unfortunately, we start
That looks like a
installing.
really interesting show. Yeah.
Oh, that's not wood.
Mhm.
Not wood.
Great. Okay, wonderful. Anything else on Poet Laureate or CPA at this point? Comprehensive plan, there's not anything to move forward on that. I'll probably take that off our standing agenda because there's just not much else we can do with that at this point. The policies and practices, I will write yet again to Suzanne Egan to try to get an answer on that, changing the ordinance. And then we don't have any other new public art proposals other than what Jason brought in. Is anybody else aware of anything else that we need to be aware of in what's going on in the city? Okay, yeah, all right. And then cultural space opportunities. I know that Miranda's been working hard on the private properties.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I can update any of you as you want. I don't think
Yeah.
it's necessarily a
Not for the
committee for
meeting,
the arts.
yeah, not
Um,
for the meeting, but
Yeah, publicly, there's no
there's no
movement.
public. Did we
Yeah,
ever
just in
get
terms
the
of city involvement
inventory
or-
of spaces?
No, so I guess, Kate, that might be another potential follow-up with Alex and Greg about whether it's possible to have an inventory of vacant city spaces.
I will ask, I'll do a reminder.
Yeah. Good, okay. And as far as I know, that's all for our business. It's good to check in on everything and move things forward. I need to file an updated status report on our CPA project, which I'll do this afternoon, but other than that, I don't have anything else for this committee.
Could I?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an agitator, but have you had any feedback at all from Suzanne regarding our policies and procedures?
Not word one, no,
There's no inching forward with
No.
anything we need.
no, nothing at all, so.
Wrong
I've had no-
answer,
no-
wrong answer.
I know, there's just been crickets, you know. just-
I understand.
Yeah.
Not that
no
you, I
response, so,
mean,
yeah.
the process.
Yeah. I'll try again. I'll just keep
Yeah.
trying,
Can I add something that's not on the agenda
of course.
that I thought of?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the right place to do this, but I was thinking, given the fact that we're in a competitive mayoral race at the moment, statewide, Mass Creative does public forums on
Mhm.
art.
Yeah,
And you can do that without supporting any of the candidates, and you just
Mhm.
invite all of them and ask them questions about their arts platform.
Mhm.
So I thought it might be interesting to see if we could pull that off. I mean, there's a couple months, but I don't know what other people's thoughts are about. I could just do that outside the committee. Sure.
yeah, so there were 3 mayoral debates
Yeah.
happening before the primary that I know of.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
Lanesville,
There's-
League of Women
yeah.
Voters and the Chamber.
Yeah.
Before the primary, which is September 16th.
the primary subject. I was thinking of the election and.
So maybe before the election, though.
Yeah.
We could think about doing something, or you could, or,
Yeah.
we,
Okay,
collectively could think about doing something.
Yeah.
But probably not before the primary. There's just too
No.
many things going on.
no, I was thinking November, that's why I felt
Yeah.
possible.
And the other thing too, we may think about the counselor's race as well,
Yeah,
with those issues.
well, if we don't, one thing we could do is is just see if we could get them to even make a public statement on there.
Yes.
Like, the Committee for the Arts could
Mhm.
request that each mayoral candidate make a public statement on their arts commitments.
I think that's a great thing. The chamber's doing something similar where they're gonna be giving all the candidates before the primary, a set of just like 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah.
To be able to publicize and put out there in public and put on their platforms. And then the debate will happen to kind of drill down to some other questions. So, yeah, I think that's a that's a good approach.
And make it a point in history. We did do, I don't know if it was a committee for the arts or was
No,
independent.
It
I think it
was,
was independent, maybe. it
Yeah.
was. And we, when Deval Patrick was running for governor, we had several debates on the arts, but we also had Deval come to talk about his art. He was going to unveil his art plan, supposedly. And it was, the whole meeting was hijacked by other issues that were much more important to the audience. And I think that Deval had done some bad things with the fishing industry and they were all over. And so frankly, I like the idea of asking for public statements over the debates, because right now in the preliminary, you've got 3 debates in a row.
Yeah.
And then you have the election, and God knows how many debates will be after that. So I would lean toward, you know.
Yeah, well, I think timing wise, we don't really have.
And if you
another
need help,
option.
I've been there, done that, I'd be happy to help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wonder if we wanna take, if we think this is a good thing, take a couple minutes before we
Absolutely.
close and think about what questions would the Committee for the Arts like to ask the mayoral candidates about their arts platform?
Mhm.
Cause that falls within our purview, right?
I don't think so.
I would think so, cause we're not going to support any of them, we're just
No.
trying to actively
Right,
solicit
Right.
public information.
yeah, yeah.
There was an arts debate, the race between Safathia.
Yes,
yeah.
at the cultural center.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, no, it was at the Gloucester stage.
Oh, was it
We
Gloucester
had
Stage?
a couple.
Yeah,
of
was that
arts
art, was
debates.
that the committee for the
No,
arts?
I would think Joanne Castano and I were, and Karen was part.
Mhm.
3 of us
Oh,
were.
because I
together.
spoke at that, but I have no
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
who
Mhm.
So.
arranged.
Yeah,
And
Greg
you know,
Cook,
and
Greg
it's-
Cook did one.
It's
yeah.
interesting because, you know, I, as an aside, one of the candidates for mayor said, you know, when asked about the arts, he said, well, I went to a museum once.
Right.
That sticks in my mind a lot.
Mhm.
Well, maybe like a pretty open, question about like what kinds of public policies would you champion, to support the arts and culture community foster?
I would like, what are your feelings regarding the importance of arts in the community? And how would you promote?
Mhm.
I just say, how is it integrated? How do you see art being integrated into the future of Gloucester?
Mhm.
That's
And into
amazing.
into society in general,
Yeah.
how do you feel that, we're just talking, I mean, I'm just
Mhm.
tossing stuff out.
Mhm.
But we all know that the arts are important in terms of the character building of a population. And historically, that's been key. I mean, without getting into the weeds regarding music and math, but some just general things that can ask them what they're gonna do. You know, how were you, if you're elected, what will you personally do to
What were you specifically, personally?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to
Yeah.
keep it out of the generality
yeah,
realm, because anybody can say anything about,
Oh, yeah,
the
they'll
arts
give
are
it-
great, but
platitude,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, one of the things that I would
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just thinking of the mass creative events that I've been to, it's also arts education,
Mhm.
right? So, what do you view of the role of arts education in schools, or how would you support the arts program in Foster Public
how would you
Schools?
make sure that the arts stay in public schools,
Also, I think something about the economic history here.
Yeah.
And the role of the arts in it, because, I mean, the arts were one of the main industries
Yeah.
here for so long.
And you can frame it in terms of the creative economy, or however they would like to frame it, but definitely, how do you see, and what would you specifically do to make sure that the arts community remains, a vital part of the local economy?
You no longer have granite, you no longer have fishing, but you still have the arts.
And it's at
Right.
risk, and it's at
And
risk.
it's at risk.
Yeah. So.
So in terms of buckets, this is great, I've been obviously taking notes, there's the first one around public policy. What kinds of public policy should we champion to support the arts and culture community of Gloucester? And maybe arts and culture community and creative economy, we can throw economy in there. And then there's three that are kind of similar, I think it might be nice to give them one opportunity to just pontificate. You know, what is the important, like your vision of the arts. So that's, we have, what are your feelings regarding the importance of the arts community? How do you see art being integrated into the future of Gloucester? So that could, those could kind of both fall under a vision for the arts.
So I have a silly question, like the arts, I would wanna know how they would define that.
Arts, yeah, I think if we say arts, culture, and the creative economy, that kind of includes everything.
Arts, you know, one
But
of the
do we-
things I would love to ask some of them, all of them, is we have seen Rocky Neck Cultural District, or Rocky Neck Art Colony diminish before our eyes. You know, what,
I wouldn't say that. I
well,
think
how
it's
could
thriving
we,
these days, I
how
mean,
could,
in many ways.
how could
Yeah,
we
but
support
not with artists
with
coming.
the, with the
No,
artists,
right,
how
well,
can
yeah.
we do that without,
Yeah.
because it needs to be. How do you feel about the fact that, you know, however we want to phrase it, but I heard someone say they were out, and, I mean, the reason it's in my mind is that I was kind of shocked. When I heard someone who's not all that involved in the arts was talking about manship. And they were saying, you know, it's really, I've never really thought too much about manship before. But with Rockport art going, you know, commercialized and out and Rocky Neck Art Colony going out, this may be the only standing space that absolutely focuses on artists and working spaces.
So a question around, you know, affordable, accessible, artist spaces for artists to live and work,
Yeah.
basically. you
Yeah.
know? And how do we make that happen? Yeah.
I just love to put them on the spot somehow. I don't know how it would be articulated, but it's,
Yeah,
It-
what can
it's
this,
really
what can the city
disturbing.
do to, engender affordable spaces for artists to work, live, and present their work? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right, so, and
Wait,
which
that was
is
really good for artists to
work, live,
live and present.
and present their work.
I'm a little nervous about the cultural economy stuff
Yeah.
because my experience with it in when I was running Sea Arts and other stuff was that it really diluted the meaning of what the arts is. And, you know, I mean, suddenly cooking was art and everything was art. And I think that's a real danger of going the route of the creative economy because that's, I mean, yes, restaurants and catering places, you know, will bring attention to Gloucester, but it's a different kind of attention than the people who used to come up here to study with the teaching artists and, you know, may actually make work.
Yeah, the risk of sort of commercializing it and having
Yes.
it be.
Yeah,
too
exactly.
broad. But on the other hand, we think about the culture of a community and we think about everything that people do when they live and, you know, inhabit that community. So it's, you know,
but when we talk about the arts, I mean, arts and culture, particularly adding those two together, they say, well, you know, we have festivals, we have the Schooner Festival, we have this festival, we have the St. Peter's Festival, we have, this is culture, and it
That's
is.
culture,
It is.
absolutely.
And arts sort of gets lost.
Yeah.
Well, I think that gets to specific questions around working artists and creative spaces.
Yes,
Because I think
exactly.
it can be yes and, right? Because
Yeah, I
there's
think
also the
yes,
truth
and
of,
would be better.
it's
It's a better way to think.
you know, a lot of working artists, if they don't have independent income, work in the cultural sector,
This is true.
right? So you have to be able to find a job
right.
to
Yeah.
make your art as
Yeah.
well.
And that's-
But I do think so. Listening to you all, I added policies to support working artists. How would you plan to support
Mhm.
artists working and living in Gloucester?
I like that.
Artists, I just added and living, working and living. Creative spaces, what would you propose to support affordable spaces for artists to live, work, and present their work? What is your plan to make affordable artists? That's the same question. I'm just going as we go. So far, just to reiterate, and in terms of being a note keeper, I just added in the notes, discussion of
Yeah,
potential
that's fine.
questions.
Yeah, that's
And now
fine.
I'm doing a separate
Yeah,
document, because I think we should just send this off, and I think it would probably be best coming
That's fine.
from you.
Yeah. Just as a request.
Yeah, exactly,
To-
but I think it's also something to say, like, what Mass Creative does to pressure each other is if one does,
Mhm.
you can then go to the next and be like, well, we got a lovely response from so-and-so, what's your response? And they
Yeah.
want to keep up with
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
And then we could send it to GDT and see if they'd run something on the mayoral candidates arts positions.
Yeah.
And then maybe we go to some of the other debates that are happening
Yeah.
and ask at least one of the questions,
Yeah.
if we can. I don't know how they'll be.
Yeah, they're pretty scripted.
Scripted.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we reach out to the people running those events.
Well,
and see
yeah,
if they would
I
ask.
was on the planning for the chamber one and made sure that, my voice was heard. I don't know if it's gonna make it into the questions that are ultimately asked, but, I definitely made a pitch for asking about arts and culture. so-
If you can't get it in, nobody
Yeah,
can.
Well,
whatever,
what
I
is
give it
the-
my best.
When is the chamber one?
It's September,
There are 3 in a row.
September 11th, Thursday, at the high school, 6 to 7:30.
And does it have a specific topic or is it?
No, it's more general. There's Housing for All, which I think
That's
is
in
later,
Gloucester State.
earlier that week, and then there's one in Lanesville.
Does it have a subject?
I don't know. I don't think it does.
And there might-
There may also be one League of Women Voters, but that might have been canceled. Anyway, the chamber one is the one at the high school. Too. All right, anything, thank you for bringing that up, Miranda.
Yeah.
Good topic. And anything else from anybody else? Okay, Billy, all good with you? Yeah, awesome. Good. It's great to see your face. And all right, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, adjourned. All right, thanks,
Bye.
Billy.
See you guys later.
Hi.
Oh my God, I should just get an address for you and just mail that, because I probably see